Tuned into the Visibility Strategy live stream with Amy Nubson and Christina Vidovich, where strategy meets storytelling and confidence takes the spotlight. Join us every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern as we help you set sail on your visibility journey. You're tuned. All right, let's set sail on our visibility journey today with this episode of Visibility Strategy. I am Christina, visibility strategist.
And I am Amy. I am a growth strategist.
I'm so excited about this month. We're talking about small business. And today, speaking. How are you showing up in rooms and speaking as a small business owner and an entrepreneur?
Yeah, there's a lot of differences that if you start watching the women in the rooms that you join and just see how they present themselves. Which ones are you gravitating for? Like, which ones are you kind of like, oh, that was nice to meet you. And you kind of walk away and you're like, who else can I meet? Mm-hmm. There are different things and cues that you're actually very unconsciously aware of. And today we're going to talk about a few of those things that can help you attract people instead of reject or like pushing them away very subtly.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about one of the things that I love to do. As soon as I catch eye contact with someone, I don't ignore it. Yes. I take that moment and I step right in and say, hi, I'm Christina. So nice to meet you. Tell me about yourself. Because you've already broken that first barrier with someone through that eye contact versus that awkward, whoa, they're looking at me.
Exactly. And if you can't get across the room, at least smile and acknowledge them. Don't just go, oh gosh, and look away because you can't get there. You still need to acknowledge that response because our eyes will make such a deep connection right away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's a really good tip. And that's the first thing you usually do is you walk in a room, you make eye contact with somebody. If you are not, try it.
Yeah.
Because when I first started, I kept looking around. So I was like this little nervous energy and bouncing around because then I didn't have to engage. Yeah. But when you grab an eye connection, you're engaging right then.
Yes, yes. And it's another thing. I mean, Amy and I just went to an event together where we had the opportunity to be in the room together. And another thing that I love to do is literally talk to women who are around my age or who I think might be around my age, because suddenly there's that generational piece of like, who are your clients? Because oftentimes your clients are reflecting you.
Very true. We usually teach what we know or what we learned. Right? It becomes a passion for a reason because we lived through it. And so a lot of times we do gravitate to the same age or somebody older that would know and understand what we're talking about. Not always true. I mean, the younger generation are bright and brilliant and beautiful too, but it's that first person you're looking for to be a comfortable entry point. So yeah, your age, someone that looks friendly, someone that smiles back, is a great person to approach first, especially when it's a new room. And then there's the conversations that you start to have with those people. And one of the pet peeves both of us have, which we found out in this event, is when that person, you're all supposed to share at a table, and that person takes forever to continue to take that conversation and keeps talking and talking. And it's like you had a minute, you're now at 3 minutes, and it actually goes against you when you're talking so much and everybody's like, well, we got to get to the next person, and it gets awkward. So don't overshare. What it kind of shows me is you don't know how to present yourself. You don't know how to stop. And you're also not aware of the room and watching and aware. It's all about you in that moment. You're caught up in yourself, and you need to take a step back and go, I'm engaging with every single person on this table, and watch their body language.
Yeah.
It'll tell you how to adjust. Or if you're not like, oh, maybe this is not the right audience for that service, maybe I can change it the next table that I go to and adjust what I'm doing because I paid attention to the women I'm talking to.
Yeah. It's being able to take those social cues when everyone else has only spoke for 2 minutes. And just like Amy said, that overshare. Look, talking more isn't going to make people want to buy from you more. Those are the off to the side conversations. Those are the offline, out of the room conversations that you can have one-to-one with someone when they're ready to dig more into the business with you. What does that look like? Because if you're the person who's not taking the social cues, what does that tell me? You're not listening to your customers. You're not hearing what they want. You're trying to give them what you want.
And as women, we pick up on those cues really fast because we are always aware of our environments. And you have to be that way too as a business owner. What's the environment you're in? Is it landing? Is it not landing? Can you adjust it? Can you give a different story that might land better in that audience that you weren't anticipating, but you're like, okay, I need to adjust here and quickly because I've lost them.
Yeah. And I think a real important thing to offer is value. Think about that for just a moment with us. When you open your mouth, I'm going to say it that way, when you open your mouth, what value are you bringing to the conversation? What does somebody get from working with you? What can they learn from working with you? And on to the other side, if you're the listener, how can you value the person you're listening to by asking the right questions? And if you're receiving those questions, I know I'm giving a lot of tips right now, but if you're receiving those questions, to not overshare, get to the point. And if you're uncertain of it, give that answer and sit with it going, wow, I really need to think about that. Because one of the ladies at the table did do that when that question was asked about how to deal with her clients. What's a tool that she has to get them out of being stuck? And she really went, wow, I just never have thought of my business in that way. So she excused herself instead of taking 2 minutes of silent time while she thought about it and pass it to the next person. That was a generous gift that she gave us by bowing out and saying, I'll be back.
Yeah, it's okay to say, oh, I need a moment to think about this answer. Because that is very true. I got past the question and I was like, ooh, shoot, I was actually hoping to have a little bit of time to decide this. And I'm like, okay, got it. But I would have gone, okay, somebody has to start this conversation and I can do it. I'm going to allow other people a little bit more time to think about it. That's the other thing. When you have those question and answers for those networking events, when you're the first person, you are allowed time to think about it. You don't have to immediately respond. Your thoughtful answers are just as important as somebody else's because what it does is it lets them have time and it also realizes, oh, I can go a little bit deeper with my answer because they did too.
Mm-hmm.
So your responses, even if you're first, is so important to share with always that value that you're bringing. The value you can bring, if you don't know how to do that, always talk about your client's successes or whatever successes you have seen. That's the value you bring. Those are great moments to share with people and just make sure it's in a way that protects the person that you're talking about if that's needed.
Amy, you actually stole the thoughts right from my mind because that's exactly the same thing. Well, this is one of the things that we have in our partnership. We have so many things that we can both help you with. And that was the whole thing is right there is when they were asking about what I'm doing, I'm not talking about me. I was explaining a whole story about a client and the journey she went through. What a better way to explain, the best way to explain what it is that you do, but then giving an example of a client in her transformation. So to tell you just a little bit more about that was a woman who wanted to speak. She'd never spoken on stages before, but she visualizes what it is that she wants to do next. She wants to be a coach. She wants to be a speaker. And guess what? She showed up. I sat with her and said, okay, this is what your talk needs to look like. You've got 10 minutes and that's it. So we crafted it. She built it. And months later now, she's running her own business, all from that first moment of stepping on stage. And now she's begun coaching. And that piece explains more than me saying what I'm doing verbatim, but to explain from a client. She came wanting to speak. We developed her talk. We put her on a stage. That's what Amy and I do.
Exactly. And think about it. When we're selling ourselves, it's just a speech. It's a speech that is a give and a take, and a listen and a receiving. So it's the same technique, but you have to be aware of those cues. And those speeches are so important because it's the language that we use, and we have to use it in a powerful way. And that's what we love. It's the idea is not just the words. It's not just the techniques. It's the value and the power behind them that matter.
All right, it's that time again. We have our 30-second dance break, and we're going to tell you about that dance break and why it exists right after this.
Share your story, own your name, step in the light, ignite your flame, show up, shine out, it's time to be heard, flip fear into power with every word, visibility, accountability, we write a wild new legacy.
Yes, share your story with our Visibility Accountability Group. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we gather together in group in our own women's circle of ceremony so that we can share our visibility stories. We can learn from each other and move to the next level. So it's always on the theme for each month. This month happens to be small business, but guess what? We don't have a regular call this month of August. We will be back in September as we are building tier 1 of our community. You can join us and, like I said, learn from each other. So check out the notes below, check out womengettingvisible.com, accountability, and you will find out more about what we have to offer.
Yeah, because when you are sharing your story, it's the best way to have a safe space, to get feedback, to get ideas, and going, I never thought I could talk about that, because why would I talk about that? Doesn't sound interesting. Like in a past conversation just earlier this week, we talked about a dance floor.
Yeah.
But it had great value because it had a purpose, right? But we don't always understand that when we are just trying it out on our own. So sharing those ideas, and then somebody go, ooh, I really, really like that. Tell me more about it. That's what we're there for. It's those, tell me more. I want to know more about that. And now let's figure out how to tell more about it, give a purpose for it, show your value.
Yes, and it's a safe space to be sharing those stories. And if you're looking for direction, not only do you have Amy and I to help coach you through places, but there are other women in the room who can relate to those stories, who might have questions that you might be able to help them answer too. Because the entrepreneurial journey doesn't have to be alone. So join us Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Check out the notes, womengettingvisible.com for the accountability. And now back to the show.
Right? And that's the thing about entrepreneurship. It does feel like it's alone.
Yeah.
Like you have nobody to talk to. And then you're like, I know it's been the same for me and Christina, that you shared and that person burns you. And after a while, you're like, I'm not sharing this idea or this thought or this heartache with anybody because it's too risky.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, those became my stories.
Yeah.
Those became my strength. And I was like, I refuse to let people take away my trust. I'm going to trust. And that's how I love a great partner. If I hadn't let those burns go, those betrayals.
Yeah.
And we all have had those in business.
Yeah.
But we have to remember to keep trusting ourselves, our voice, and our passion and what we're doing. And that comes out through our stories.
Yeah. And I think, again, back to this being the month of business, small business, mine's all the stuff.
Both mindset.
My mindset was last week, but this week speaking is, that is one of the things that's huge when you have a partnership, is being able to communicate. So Amy knows of somebody else that was talking about, oh, I watched the two of you and there's this woman who's really talked to me about partnership, but I don't know. To me, that's already a red flag.
Yeah.
If you don't know, don't do it.
Yeah, there's a hesitancy. Trust your instincts. When I started a business, they're like, do not do your instincts. It's not any good. Don't lead with your heart. And it's like, there is a benefit to doing it. Yeah. The idea is you can't, it's like the extreme. You can't do all heart or all logic. It's that in between, that flow between the two of them, and then paying attention to the cues that are happening. Because people asked us, they're like, how do you guys know? And I'm like, I don't know. We just knew. It worked. And we kept staying in touch. And then when we kept saying yes to each other, there was never a hesitation.
Yes. Because again, I think one of the things it goes to is the know, like, trust.
Yes.
So Amy and I knew each other on and off, business-wise, for 2 years. And then we started to talk a little bit more frequently, get to know each other a little bit more frequently, being in the same room to actually go, oh, wow, yeah, this is even better than we thought, of like the depths of like, we see business the same. Now, here's the other thing. We have a lot of things we run side by side, but Amy does things this way and she has her strengths, and I do things this way and I have my strengths. And it's realizing like that balance. We balance each other. So whoever needs to like be running that is the one running it. And the other one goes, no, you got this. Take that baton. You go, girl. You cross that finish line, because that first half of the race, woo!
Right? Or like, oh, that's your strength. You handle that. Because, oh my God, you do so much better at that than I do. It's that idea of complimenting.
Yeah.
Same thing you do with your clients. You compliment them when they're doing something well.
Yeah.
Partnerships is a massive communication and not avoiding hard conversations. I've been in a partnership. Christina's had other partnerships with her businesses, or you have the key employee that you have to trust. Yeah. There are always people we have to trust in our businesses. And that communication and that know, like, and trust is huge, to the point where my first business partner was my husband. And he would be like so worried about messing up. I go, here's the thing. And I tell this to my clients every day. People will work with people they like, know, and trust. Yes. You mess up, you can apologize and they'll be okay.
Yeah.
But if they don't like you or they don't trust you and you mess up, usually you get fired almost immediately. Yeah. That's the difference.
Yeah.
People will forgive things as long as you're not doing it every day or frequently. But things happen in the world that we can't control. But if they like, know, and trust you, that's key.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't get caught up. And Amy knows this because it's a current situation that's going on right now, where someone was trying to build trust with me, and I'm finding out they're not the person that they have been showing themselves to be. Now, are they a great business person? Absolutely. But sometimes the partnerships aren't the ones that you need. And it's okay to say no. Because if it's not beneficially benefiting both of you at the same time, then it's okay to say no. But it's important to be able to have those conversations. And again, the know, like, trust, because look, this is business. We can stay friends, but at the end of the day, some things are just business, and it's okay. But being able to communicate with yourself as well as the other person is what is going to keep you in control of your business and not letting things flow out of control. And yes, that's an important piece.
And that's the thing too, is when you are getting those warning signals, do something about it quickly. It's not going to change. I used to wait till somebody like did something, like they took care of it. And by that time I was like, oh my God, this is the worst experience in my life. And I really want this to change. And I let go of my own power to make that change. And now I'm like, okay, if something's not working out, I'm going to investigate it. I'm going to find out what's happening. And if it's not going to be curable or fixable or beneficial to both parties, I let it go. And sometimes it's firing a client. Sometimes it's shifting a service. Sometimes it's like well, we tried that. That didn't work. Let's try it a different way. The idea is quick decisions. That is the one thing I would have learned, wish I would have learned as an entrepreneur 25 years ago. Quicker decisions and trusting my first instinct of going, I need to make this change. Instead of going, no. All right, let's do something. I'll give it more time. Oh, I will give it more time. I'll try it this way. I'll try it this way. And I'm like, yeah, I should have just done that 5 months ago. Like what I originally thought was the solution. Trust that instant decision and follow that and see it and pay attention to how things will like evolve in a much more natural way.
Yeah. And if you're looking for that accountability and you're going, you know what? Maybe I need to talk to somebody else who's outside of this situation because they can see something that I'm not. That's what Amy and I are here for. So Join us Wednesdays, the accountability group. We start up in September, Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern. Join us for a month for free and then become a member because you're going to see how valuable it is to be in that room with us. So thank you for joining us on this visibility strategy, small business of speaking. I'm Christina.
And I'm Amy. Have a good day.
To be heard, flip fear into power with every word. Visibility.